Hi, and welcome to the Perfectly Wasted podcast. I'm the host, DullOxide. This is episode 6, CosPokemon, and you can find all of the previous episodes on iTunes, Google Play, and just about anywhere else that you could find podcasts, as well as the video podcasts on the Drinking Wisemen YouTube channel, and my bi weekly podcast, Brew the Truth. Today is episode 6, CosPokemon, which, if you can't decipher from the title that I've kind of cleverly combined here, it's cosplay and Pokemon, which is that I've decided for my next cosplay, I'll be cosplaying as Pokemon Trainer Red, and the grown up version, that is. So there's a couple of problems with the cosplay that I've run into already trying to get it ready. It was supposed to be kind of like a closet cosplay, but in the end, it turns out that it's just a lot of other things that need to be modified. So I went ahead and I started looking for things like the hat, and you think, hey, it's a Pokemon trainer hat. It's pretty popular, probably out there. Um, Actually, it's not. So they have Ash's hat, which is different. It's almost the same design. It has that red line underneath the I guess the half Pokeball symbol that's there, and on the new hat that Red wears, he has that black slash through the section of it there. So it's not quite the same, and also Red's hat doesn't have that underlying red area. So I looked around as much as I could. I tried looking for patches that I could just put onto a red cap with the white brim, and I couldn't really find it. So I found a couple of different hats that were a couple of different designs, and I wasn't able to find anything that was even close. So unfortunately, since I'm kind of a perfectionist on certain things, I decided that I would buy a hat that's the right color scheme, and then I would go through and try and make a patch with some embroidery fabric with my sewing machine. And so we'll see what happens with that. I'm not quite sure how that's going to come out. I think it's probably a little bit more of a challenge than I think, but anything worth doing is worth doing well. So we're gonna give it a try and see what we can do. The next kind of really big challenge was like, well, hey, you know what? Red has a shirt. It's a pretty standard T-shirt. You'd figure, yeah, it's a white shirt with red trim up on the top, and it's got red sleeves, and it's got the numbers 96 on it at a little bit of an angle. You know, Not something that's super crazy hard to find, right? Wrong. So the problem is that red shirt is a standard shirt. It's not. It's not something easy to find a red sleeved white shirt. So, as some examples, these are some of the versions of the shirt that I found that aren't the right shirt. So you could see here, it's kind of like the one on the left is a baseball jersey type. That means that the sleeves don't actually cut off where sleeves normally do. They kind of right up onto the neck. And it's the same with the one that's to the right of that, which actually has the numbers 96 not slanted, which the shirt on the left actually does right. And then we have the kind of like mutant okay version of it, which is the black trimmed version of it with black sleeves, except for it's black and not red. So that's the closest to them, and it's the wrong color. So again, I've decided that I'm going to try and take it upon myself here to take some red shirts, which I have here, and I actually also bought white shirts that are the same type of this shirt, and I'm going to try and Frankenstein them together and see if I can't combine the two to make something that's passable, and then probably get an iron-on kit to do the design with. So, t-shirts are not something that I could just make. I mean, I imagine I could probably make a t-shirt with the right kind of fabric and everything like that, but I mean, at the cost of fabric, I think the shirts are something like, I don't know, $4 a piece. So I decided, probably easier just to pull apart the pieces at the seams and then try and resew them together and see what we get in the end. But it could be quite a challenge. So we'll just have to see where that goes. Once I get my white shirts, and once I have the right hat, and once I have my sewing machine all set up, I'll probably snap a couple of photos and throw them on my Instagram so that everyone can kind of see the progress that I'm making towards that. Now, at the same time, my girlfriend's going to try and go for a grown up version of Leaf. There was some fan art that came out that showed her for the new Pokemon game that was standing next to Red, and it's that's fan art. So really, we're gonna try and come up with something that looks like her original costume, maybe like the new fan art, and maybe mix mingle it. I mean, really, we could kind of go with whatever because it doesn't really matter. No one knows what she looks like. So as long as it's something that's easy enough to tell, then I think that the goal will be met. So with that, like I said, I've decided on Red for my next cosplay at the next events I'll be going to. I think it should be relatively easy. I could probably just wear my watch, just like he has his little wrist thing here, and then he's just wearing jeans with some red and white sneakers. And so that shouldn't be too hard. My hair is already around the right length, and I'll probably just wear some contacts, and I feel like it'll be a pretty easy cosplay. Um, with that being said, there's some other exciting Pokemon news that's just happened recently. Actually, I believe just the other day, Pokemon Go came out with second generation Pokemon, which means that we have a whole another 80 Pokemon that we can capture and do all the fun Pokemon Go things with. So we have new eggs, we have new Pokemon, we have new items inside of the game. There's new evolutionary items that are inside of the game that are required to go through and evolve certain Pokemon. I'm not a big second gen fan. In fact, I probably couldn't name the majority of them that are inside of this picture here, but I do really enjoy the game. Like I said on previous podcasts, I bought the Apple Watch just to be able to use it with Pokemon Go, and it's great for that. I think that the second gen release was a little later than really they should have released it. I was expecting it closer to the beginning of the year or even December of last year, but sometimes things don't always go as planned. So they've released some new berries, and something else that actually kind of coincides with my cosplay is they've added more avatar customization, except you have to pay for it. So you have to use your coins to customize your avatar, which I understand other games do things like this, but it's like, okay, yeah, I can have the basic bitch stuff that everyone can have, or I can customize my avatar and I'll be pretty much the only person that'll ever see it, but I'll like the way that I look. So I get that people are probably going to pay for it. It's not super expensive, but when it comes down to it, like, are you going to complete your Pokédex first by buying incubators and hatching eggs, or are you going to customize your avatar more by spending your coins on a new hat, new glasses? Maybe you need those new shoes, things like that. None of the enhancements do anything for you. It's just an enhancement on your avatar's looks, and just to kind of appease you and make you feel like it's more, matching your personality, just to have more customization. So, I mean, that's cool. I like the customization. I dislike that they're charging for it. I do like also that for right now, they have reduced the price of increasing your Pokemon box size, which kind of pisses me off too, because I've already done this and I paid the full price. So now you're able to do it for half the price, which is nice, but they also didn't reduce the cost of incubators since we're going to be using more incubators. They didn't give us any more incubator space. There's no way that we can pay for more incubator space. And that's one of the hardest things is that if you're not in a region that hatches or that spawns these Pokemon that are inside of second gen that are kind of rare, you're going to get stuck by having to hatch them, which is what happened with my Lapras. I don't live in California. I can't hatch, or I can't catch a Lapras. I had to hatch it, and it took me forever to do it. So I'm afraid that the new second gen is going to be the same way. 80 new Pokemon. Some of them are probably going to be easiest to hatch, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I am really excited to go out and start hunting, try out the new berries. I hear there's a new level cap, and that also they've introduced the new Pokeball. So I don't think anyone's going to get to level 100, which I think is what the cap has been stated as in the near future, but it's something to shoot for. So all that being said, I'm pretty excited about Pokemon, and this episode has been basically all about Pokemon. We had my new cosplay of Red the trainer and the new second gen stuff coming out. Like I said, I'm really excited about. If you have any questions or if you want to make any comments, any suggestions, please comment, like, subscribe, share, And once again, that was 10 minutes perfectly wasted.